Is Friday the 13th actually unlucky, or are we just caught in a web of superstition? Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Tanya Ray, and today we are diving deep into the myths and or facts around Friday the 13th. Is it really a day of doom, or could it actually be something more magical? Fridays have been considered unlucky days since the Middle Ages, and while the reference isn't known as to why exactly, it's most likely due to Jesus being crucified on a Friday. And the number 13 has been associated with this event because Judas was the 13th guest at the Last Supper and then betrayed Jesus. So it's kind of understandable how, looking at it this way, both the day and the number seem to be an unfortunate combination. Others claim that several tragic biblical events have happened on a Friday, like Eve biting the apple, or Cain killing Abel, or when the Great Flood started. However, in looking it up, I couldn't find any source that said the Bible actually referenced Friday for these specific events. It does make me wonder, though, if people do in fact believe that all of these bad events happened on a Friday, and I'm not sure if they do, could enough people believing a day is cursed actually make it so? The Catholic Church views Friday as the day of penance, so again, we're not looking at party vibes exactly. In Norse mythology, there's a story of a dinner party of the gods ruined by the 13th guest, Loki, who brings chaos and darkness to the world. Over in England, Fridays were historically execution days, known grimly as Hanged Man's Day. Still not looking great for Fridays, or the number 13. In pop culture, it seems that the references to Friday the 13th started around 1834 when a playwright had a character in his play La Fenêtre de Grubery state, "I was born on December 13th, 1813, from which came all of my misfortunes." It's unclear to me if he was simply stating that it was an unfortunate date due to the fact that he was born and led a misfortunate life, or if the reference is actually about specifically Friday the 13th. But hey, don't come for me, Swifties. I'm not the one that's even merely suggesting that December 13th is specifically unlucky. That was the playwright. And later, in a French literary magazine, Marquis de Salvo wrote, "It is always Fridays and the number 13 that bring bad luck," as a reference to a father killing his daughter. But of course, most notably are the films that introduce the world to Jason, the first of which came out in 1980. Fun fact, up to 80% of high-rise structures, including hotels, apartments, and office buildings, have omitted a 13th floor and sometimes even a 13th room in North America. The fear runs deep. But what real historical events happened on Friday the 13th? Yes, I was able to find a list, and I will share a few of them, not all of them. The Knights of Templar were arrested on Friday the 13th in 1307, many of which were tortured and then executed. Buckingham Palace was bombed by Germany on Friday the 13th in 1940. Kansas flooded in 1951, and it's thought by some that Tupac died on Friday the 13th in 1996. And in 2012, a cruise ship wrecked off the coast of Italy and killed 30 people. Does this mean that Friday the 13th draws more tragic events than any other given Friday? I'm not so sure it does, let alone any other 13th of the month, or any day for that matter. But I pose the question again, is our collective superstition strong enough to make the day truly a day of chaos? Remember, Friday the 13th is not considered unlucky everywhere in the world. It is only a westernized belief, and not even every Western culture believes it, for that matter. In fact, the number and the day are considered lucky by many cultures. In ancient Egypt, 13 represented the final stage of life, which was actually death. But that wasn't feared because it was viewed as transformation. Because the ancient Egyptians believed in eternal life. So, in a way, you could look at it as a spiritual upgrade. In Japan, 13 sounds like the word for life, so it's considered a sign of vitality and prosperity. And in Italy, it is tied to fertility, the lunar cycles, and the great goddess. In fact, many cultures revere the number 13 as sacred and feminine. And on the topic of that, the moon is a symbol of the feminine, and she has 13 cycles per year, as does the average woman. The number 13 represents the death and rebirth cycle, creation, intuition, and transformation. And the planet that rules Friday is Venus, the planet of love, beauty, feminine energy, and divine connection. In Old English, the word Friday comes from Frigg, the Norse goddess of love and fertility. Are we seeing a pattern here? So what if Friday the 13th is not a day of misfortune, but the day of magic and manifestation? A day to honor the sacred feminine, a day of intuitive downloads, a powerful time to manifest, rest, and connect with the part of ourselves that society has feared and silenced. Not just for women, but for everyone, because we all carry both masculine and feminine energies. Friday the 13th might be the perfect invitation to nurture the goddess within. What if the truth is that we've been conditioned to fear our own intuitive power? If collective belief can create fear, it can also create something else, something healing and something empowering. So here's my question for you all. What do you believe about Friday the 13th? Is it a cursed day? Is it just another day? Or could it actually be the day of the goddess? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I genuinely want to hear them. And make sure to stick around because in the next video I will be doing a card reading on the energy and what it looks like for Friday the 13th so we can utilize it and create our own luck. Until then, try not to fear the 13th. Let's reclaim it, and I'll see you next time.